Hello, my friends, my family, my community, my tribe. Welcome to the Hippie Moms Podcast. Yeah! Woo! How are you guys? Oop, I hope I didn't blow your ears out. I'm really excited about this podcast today. So I'm doing this series of podcasts because really this is a lot about what I teach and my mission. And also I'm going to be using these podcasts in some of my courses and workshops and things like that where I can just give people resources to get the basics. And and this is part two of the food, about clean eating. So I was kind of thinking about this. I don't believe in diets, but I guess if I was to believe in a diet, this would be the anti-chemical diet. I have to tell you, kind of when I woke up and started realizing how many chemicals were allowed in our food and that there is no regulation on what goes in our food. I mean, really. And the crazy thing is, and I'll be going to this in a minute, is that these companies, big food companies, are allowed to use loopholes. And these loopholes allow the companies to determine themselves if a chemical is safe or not. And so that's the problem. These companies are not being policed. And you know what? And I've just kind of grown to acknowledge this and accept it, and instead of bitching about it, which I love to do, I'm just going to say, you know what, this is why I'm here. I'm going to educate people so that we can just stop buying chemical-laden foods and feeding our kids this and continuing the cycle of chronic disease. And we're just going to make better decisions. We're going to be more informed. So that's kind of the perspective I'm taking, and I'm going to take a more responsible mindset and say, you know what, I can't change big food companies. I don't have enough money or power to do that, but I do have enough power in my soul to spread the information and spread the love and spread the wisdom that I've learned and how I've literally transformed my life from being sick, anxiety, depressed, complete mess, to a more vibrant, energetic, and healthy version of me. And it's so worth it. So, I've really dedicated my life to helping people through this process of getting chemicals out. But I think for so many, I know Food Babe, and there's so many bloggers that do this. And so I think it can get a little kind of like, we get it. So I want to take a new approach, and I really want to provide the education and stop blaming people, because I think everyone else blames the company. I'm like, let's not blame the companies. Let's empower moms to make better decisions, because that's really how we do it. And I love the Food Babe. I mean, she's made incredible changes in the big food industry and fast foods, companies. So I think it's amazing. But this is going to be like more of a grassroots movement, of moms really deciding we're not going to buy your chemical concocted creations. We're going to actually go back to Mother Nature. We're going to relearn how to eat. We're going to get back in the kitchen, which I think is one of the biggest things we can do, is get back in our kitchen and feed ourselves, feed our family, feed our kids, and teach our kids how to eat, right? Teach our kids how to feed themselves and the importance of food. I mean, I talk about it all the time. Now, before I talked about it too much and the kids would glaze over and be like, yeah. But now I'm just, they see me. They see that I'm healthy. I mean, I hate to say this, and this may sound really conceited, you guys, and that's okay. Maybe this is conceited, but they ask me all the time. They're like, Mom, why do you look so much younger than some other moms? And Mom, why don't you have a big belly? And hey, listen, I've had a big belly. Okay. I've been way overweight. And I tell them, I say, listen, most people don't understand that what you put in your body, what you put on your body, what is around your body affects your body. Duh. But some people just don't know that. And that's okay. And that's why I'm here. And that's why I'm like, you know what? I'm living this life. I'm doing what I preach so that I feel amazing. I wake up feeling good. I don't have the crashes during the day anymore. I remember just in the middle of the day, I would feel like crap and I just want to go take a nap. And now it's like I'm at 9 o'clock and I'm like, I still have energy to go. So there's a lot to go along with that, but this is a journey. It's a process. I'm still working towards the optimal version of me, and I always will, right? Because that's always changing. All right, so let's get into it. So this is going to kind of go over the basics on how to eat source clean, real whole food. Okay, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the top chemicals, pesticides, GMOs, and ingredients that we're going to try to avoid and what I recommend avoiding. And then we're going to talk a little bit how to navigate the grocery store with like a boss, right? With confidence and really the mindset that what goes in your cart goes into your body. So the one thing is if you don't want your kids to eat it, don't buy it, right? And I know that's easier said than done because I have to tell you, I still buy crackers and stuff that I know the kids it's not healthy for the kids, but I really balance it out. And it's not about 100% perfection because you can't do that in this day and age. My kids are influenced by kids at school and at birthday parties and so many other areas they're influenced by. And so I feel like what I've realized is that trying to always give my kids exactly what I know they need it's impossible. Like if I literally lived on a commune, with a community and we just grew our own food and we had animals and we all had the same mindset, I could actually do that. But living in today's world where hyperpalatable processed cheap foods are the norm, it's really hard. So all we can really do and what I've realized is educate our kids. And we can do that by first, we get educated. And that's why I love working with moms. I get a lot of moms say, how do I feed my kids better? I'm like, you eat better, right? You eat your fruits and veggies. You're buying the food. What are you serving? So you are the gateway mama. And that's why I'm so passionate about working with moms because it really makes a big difference. They make a huge impact in their family and in, their extended family and their circle of friends, their community. So it's really a beautiful way to really make a big impact. And it starts with us. It's so awesome. Okay. One thing I want you, as we go through this is I want you to realize that these small baby steps, small daily changes equal huge changes over time. So this is where we have to get out of the mindset where there's a quick fix, right? We're going to change everything right away. That's just not sustainable. And unless you are loaded and you have tons of resources, by all means, make these changes. Start really shifting what you buy. But that's not really accessible for everyone. And so part of this is just saying, okay, hey, yeah, that works for me. Yeah, I can do that. And okay, yeah, once you start doing these changes, what I call them is little victories. And these little victories help encourage you. They give you a little more confidence and they show you on this visceral level, like, yeah, I can make changes. I can do this, right? Okay. So let's see. So first of all, let's define what clean eating is. And really, I want to say this is what eating is supposed to be. This is how humans are designed to eat, right? We talked about the evolution of the modern diet in the last podcast. And so we know why we got here. We know how we got here. And now we're just going to go back of like, okay, well, what does it actually mean to eat the way that Mother Nature intended us to eat? Okay, so what I identify clean food or the more of like the anti-chemical diet, if we want to go there, is it's food that's found in nature. It's food in its whole form. It has one ingredient. It's nutrient dense, right? It has lots of nutrients and it's properly prepared. That's going to be a big one. And I'll go over more of that on how to properly prepare grains and seeds and all that stuff at a later time. I'm not going to have time to go through that today, but I just want to kind of plant that seed, pun not intended, so that you understand that, how we prepare food is important. What is, clean food not? And that's found in a box or a package, right? Has long and unrecognizable ingredient lists, and it's nutrient deficient. So it's processed so much that all the nutrients are dead. They're gone, right? We want nutrients. Our body is made from nutrients. Our body needs them. There's so many. And if you think about this is what's so amazing is that in every second, there's like 8.7 billion chemical processes going on in your body, maybe even more. And I think that's so incredible. Like I'm just in awe of our bodies. I want you to be in awe of your body, right? I bet most of the time, like if you're like me, you've spent a lot of time not liking your body and not being in awe of your body. But that's a huge mental shift that if you can start being in awe of how incredible your body is and how much it does for you, it's really amazing. I mean, this is our home. I love the saying, if you don't take care of your body, where are you going to live? Because this is where you live. This is, and you have a choice on how you take care of it, or if you don't take care of it, right? Okay, So now you have like 3 levels of how foods are processed. Okay, so you have a minimally processed food. So this would be something like cacao powder or bagged salads, dried fruits, packaged frozen fruits or vegetables, oils, kind of like extra virgin olive oil, coconut oils, packaged nuts, whole or ground coffee. So canned beans, for example, and tuna would fall in this category. So there's one ingredient, maybe 2. Most of these are just one ingredients, and they're processed in a way that can sustain nutrients or maybe even make them more nutrient, right? These oils and stuff, they're so good for us. Healthy fats are so important. And so this is like minimally processed. These are I want you to start looking around your kitchen and your pantry and start saying, is this minimally processed? Then is it moderately processed? So this would be like foods that have ingredients added for safety or to ensure that the food retains visual and taste appeal. So these ingredients may include sweeteners, colors, flavors, oils, spices, and preservatives. So moderate processing would be something like condiments, salad dressings, instant potatoes, like pudding mixes, and tomato sauces. Okay, so they still have to have, like, some tomato sauces just have citric acid in it. A lot of them, like marinara sauce, have lots of sugar in it. But you can still read the ingredients. You basically know what they are, and you're like, okay, you still understand what they are, and that's good. And like my rule of thumb is if you look at an ingredient list, anything that's in there that you don't know what it is, your body doesn't either, okay? And then we have the ultra heavily processed foods. So this is where food undergoes many processes so that they're ready to eat right out of the package, like granola bars, crackers, cookies, TV dinners, frozen pizzas, ice cream, sodas, and spreadable cheeses, that kind of thing. We obviously want to steer clear from these heavily ultra processed foods for the majority of what we eat. And I always say, look, 80-20, okay? But I'll tell you what, once you start steering away from eating these heavily ultra-processed foods, you're not going to want them anymore. And the thing is that because of these ultra-processed foods, they become hyper-palatable. And so they literally change your taste buds and they rewire your brain. So that's why it's so hard for people to move off of these, because it does take a transition. It does take a time to kind of retrain your taste buds. Okay, if you don't understand an ingredient, your body doesn't either. And that's what's so important to really look at, ingredient lists. I think reading ingredient lists is literally a life skill. It is something I teach in all my courses, I advocate for, and I really want to start doing some more workshops about it because it's really simple. But I think when you start, you're just like, is that okay? Is that okay? Is that okay? So we're going to kind of go into kind of what we would avoid. Ideally, what are the things we avoid? And I don't really like talking about what we have to like avoid or not eat, but we kind of have to. We kind of have to become aware of what are the things lurking out in the grocery store that are not healthy for us, okay? So the whole point of this is we want to eliminate toxins and chemicals in foods that cause inflammation and create havoc, there we go, in our bodies. And that's the thing is we don't want to be inflamed, and ultra processed foods, chemicals like that, our body does not know how to metabolize them, and it can really mess up our bodily systems, especially our digestive system, which is an organ. And it's so important that we have a healthy digestion because that's where we get all our fuel. That's where we get our nutrients. That's where we get the building blocks to rebuild our body, our brain, our hearts, our organs, and all of that. And we want to focus on consuming nourishing, nutrient-dense foods that bring the body back to health and balance, that the body knows what to use, that can use these nutrients to make us healthy. It's pretty much as simple as that. So the things that we really want to steer clear of are processed foods, okay? Now, anything in a box or bag or with ingredients we don't understand. Sugar and added sugars. This is a big one. When you're reading ingredient lists, I always say check how much sugar is in it. Added sugars, because people don't realize how much sugar is added to everything. Remember, Our body, our brain loves sugar. We want sugar. It's a quick form of energy, but we have not evolved to ingest and digest the amount of sugar that we now intake. And it is really a huge issue. And it's that's why we're seeing the rise of diabetes and all these chronic illnesses, because our blood sugar balance is so important, and having too much sugar is just, it's a recipe for disaster, you guys. It really is. Artificial sweeteners, get away from those. When I worked in commercial real estate, I had this gentleman that I worked with, and he was always drinking sodas. It was so funny. And I was like, oh, Bob, you need to make, I just said his name. You really need to make better decisions on your, and so he's like, okay, so I'll start drinking Diet Coke. He started drinking Diet Coke. He gained 40 pounds in a couple of months because of his consumption of Diet Cokes. And now you would think, well, why would he gain that? Well, the problem is these artificial sweeteners are so confusing to the body. They don't know what to do with them, so they just store it. So artificial sweeteners are one of those things that I just say get rid of, okay? Genetically modified foods. We need to have a whole podcast on GMOs. Let's just set an intention to have Zach Bush come and talk to us about it. Scott calls him my boyfriend. Zach Bush is just like Dr. Zach Bush. He is like the most amazing. He's all about soil regeneration and educating people. And he so eloquently talks about the environment and how humans are contributing to the mass destruction of it and what we can do. And GMOs is one of those things. Genetically modified organisms, they're in almost everything. And the problem is you can't mess with Mother Nature, because Mother Nature is much smarter than we will ever be. And I think that's the biggest issue, is that GMOs are one of those things that we just, we need to avoid. We can't mess with Mother Nature. So GMOs are the top GMO foods that are primarily, are very prominent, are corn, soy, and wheat. So there's something called the Non-GMO Project. And it is a, let's see, what is it called? It's basically like a certification that companies get to prove that they have no GMOs in their products. The biggest problem GMOs is that they contain glyphosate, which is these GMOs, these modified plants are created so that they can withstand high being sprayed with glyphosate, which is in Roundup, okay? That's what Monsanto or now Bayer owns. And the problem is this glyphosate, this chemical, really messes up with our detoxification pathway. So when you're eating a lot of GMOs and you're getting exposed to these chemicals, it really hinders the way that you detoxify. And that's huge. I mean, we have to detoxify. That's so important to our body. So it just messes it up. And you can just think of all the myriad of issues that creates. Conventional dairy, conventional meat and eggs. This was a big one for me. When I first started out on my vegetarian, veganism kind of journey, it was really because I became aware of how conventional meat and eggs and dairy was created. And it's just totally an opposite of Mother Nature. When we talk about regenerative farming, you're seeing cows and chickens and pigs and different plants, and everything works in harmony. It's like a whole organism, the environment. But what happens is when you do these monocrops, right? All of this wheat, and then you have cows put together, all the waste, like all the cow's waste goes together. Normally the cow's waste would be manure and fertilizer for these plants, but now it's just all together, and these cows are together so tightly, diseases start, communicable diseases begin, and then they're having to get high doses of antibiotics, which then becomes us, right? We are what our food eats. This is why I'm so adamant about buying, meat and eggs and dairy in a way that is in alignment with nature. So consciously and humanely raised. Soy products. I'm not a big fan of soy. I know that might be a little controversial, but especially conventional soy products. The next thing is processed vegetable oils. That's a big one. That's in everything. So that's canola, right? Let's see. I'm going to pull up my list of all of those so that you can, let's see. I don't have it here, But okay, canola, all right, which is also rapeseed. Grapeseed, which everyone thinks that's actually really good, right? Unrefined grapeseed oil is really good for your skin, but it's not good to ingest. Any type of vegetable shortening, any type of, let's see, what else? Soybean, corn, sunflower, safflower, palm, peanut, anything with hydrogenated oils that is we just want to eliminate. I used to eat tubs of Earth Balance, which is like one of the worst butter alternatives to eat. And I thought I was healthy. Everyone turned against butter, right? Butter was this horrible food that we shouldn't be eating. And actually, grass-fed butter is amazing for you. It has so many nutrients, and highly recommend it. So we have to get back to like, where is, Mother Nature? Is Mother Nature processing these vegetable oils? No. Butter is one of those things where we're taking the cream and we are minimally processing it, but it's super high in in nutrients. Okay. Let's see. What else are the things that we want to avoid? Anything artificial, right? Gums, emulsifiers, conventional deli and processed meats, soda, of course. Like, just stop the soda. What I love to do is I love getting those, just carbonated water. You can do that. I mean, you can buy like the thing that actually makes the carbonated water for you, or Perrier, or I can't think of the one that I always get, but I just do that with a little bit of like lemon and lime, and it's just delicious. It's a great little mocktail. It's simple. You can also use different fruits and herbs like that, and so you still get the bubblies. You're just not getting all the sugar and all that other crap that you don't need in sodas. Another thing I love is kombucha. Oh my God, I love kombucha. I think it's so delicious. So that's kind of another thing that you can drink in lieu of soda. Processed packaged fruit juice, and then of course like fast food, low quality restaurant food. So again, 80-20. I mean, this is the thing, 80-20. Now I'm going to go into some grocery shopping guidelines. Okay. I'm just going to kind of go through these really quickly because I don't want to bore you. I feel like I might be boring you. But I really want to give this information so you just have an idea. Okay, what am I trying to avoid? And then we're going to go into what do we want? What are we going to eat? Now here's the thing. Again, reading lists is a life skill. The biggest thing I teach my clients is shop local as much as possible. Eat seasonally. And why it's important to eat seasonally, because then you get a variety. Remember our ancestors, they had variety of food. Our gut, our microbiome loves variety. So make sure you eat different things. If you're always eating the same thing, right, your body can become intolerant of it. I have a great example. So I was obsessed with avocados. I was eating like 1.5 to 2 a day. After 4 months of that, I could not eat them anymore. Right after I'd eat them, I would go to the bathroom. I mean, my stomach hurt, and I was just like, what the heck? Do I have something? And then I kept going. And then I was like, okay, I need to start doing the elimination. I know better. And then honestly, I was so sad to see that I was allergic to avocados. Now, I stopped eating them for, I would say, about 6-7 months. And then I slowly started incorporating them, but I wouldn't eat them every day. So if you're eating something every day, you can grow an intolerance to it. So it's just important to keep, and the celery juice craze, right? I'm like, yes, love celery juice, but people are coming up and showing to be intolerant of celery. So that's why we have to have variety. Try to eat different things. Try new recipes. That's one thing I love about my gut healing cleanse. And one of the feedback that I get a lot of is not only mental clarity, which is huge, no more brain fog, more energy, but they love trying new recipes. They love because it's easy to get into a meal rut. I get into that too. And we just need to get out of it and try new things. That's why seasons are great that they change, because, things go in and out of season and you just get to keep changing. Buy organic if you can. If not, use the Dirty Dozen and Clean 15 list. I'll make sure to put those lists on my show notes so that you have those at your convenience. You know what I'm going to do too? I'm going to give you the my grocery shopping cheat sheet. It's so good. So you can have all this when you go grocery shopping, because I want you to be empowered and I want you to navigate the grocery store like a boss. Okay. Go to www.localharvest.org. Okay. What you're going to do is you're going to put in your zip code, and then you're going to find all the local farmers market, growers markets, and other resources for you to find real, whole, local food. Okay. I was clapping there. I was like, yes, do this. Go there. Localharvest.org. Okay. I'll also give you the Eat Wild. That's another amazing resource for you to use, eatwild.com, to find grass-fed and pasture-raised meats, eggs, and dairy in your area. Listen, I like dairy. I was like anti-dairy for so long. But I realized that when you actually, so we have been eating dairy for 12 to 15,000 years, 10 to 12, there we go. When we started, doing our agriculture and farming and settling down, we started eating dairy, and it might have gone back to even further than that. But some of us just do not digest milk and dairy because of the lactose. But here's why. Okay, you ready for this? Because so much of conventional dairy is pasteurized, heated, and it's mixed with other cow milk. So it's all put in a vat, all goes in there, gets heated and treated. You're losing out on the enzymes. And that's why it's so important. The enzymes, lactase, are actually in the dairy. Raw, grass-fed, pasture-raised dairy is where it's at, because that is actually very healing and nourishing to the gut and has all the enzymes that we need and probiotics and all of that. When you heat it up and strip it of its nutrients, of course you're going to get sick from it. So that's my little tidbit on milk. I'm not anti-milk actually, but I do want to buy it from cows that are humanely treated, not impregnated over and over again with their babies, stripped from them. It's horrible what these conventional practices do, and I refuse to buy conventional dairy products because of that. I just cannot support that type of behavior. No way. I just think fresh, whole ingredients, right? When you go to the grocery store, allow plants to take up the majority of your real estate. So I suggest, 75% of your cart should be fruits and veggies, right? And then this is kind of, I love this tip, shop the perimeter. Okay, go on the perimeter. That's where the real whole food is most likely going to be located in your grocery store. And then you just dip into the aisles. Like if you meander in the aisles, that's a recipe for disaster. And that's why you should not shop hungry. My next tip, do not go hungry. Okay, we all know that. That's like an ancient tip for grocery shopping. But it's a wise old rule, eat something or drink a smoothie before you shop. And this will just help you avoid temptation. And when you dip into the aisles, go in for canned sardines, nuts, extra virgin olive oil, spices and vinegars. But don't traverse, these aisles, because that's where the cakes and the sweetened treats are planted everywhere. So just stay focused, okay? Make a list. Meal planning is a big thing. I teach a lot about meal planning. It is one of the most important things you can do to keep you on track and to keep you sane and to help you save money. Avoid canned foods. This is a big one. There are some, BPA-free canned foods. The only things that I normally buy is like coconut milk or beans. It's pretty much the only thing, but I'm not a big canned food person because a lot of the containers are lined with plastic containing BPA or other plastic chemicals, and that just gets in your food. A big thing you never want to buy in cans is tomato sauce because it's super acidic. Super duper acidic. And what happens is it pulls those chemicals out of the can regardless. So just what I say is if you're ever going to buy tomato products, buy it in a glass container. Okay. And you can reuse the glass containers. That's why I love buying stuff in glass containers, because I can reuse it for storing things. I put my nuts, my seeds, we use it for drinking water. And you can just use it for storage. So highly recommend that. And one thing is just try. It's so hard to avoid plastic containers, but just do your best. That's all. I'm not going to really go into that. And let's see. So there's a little trick is when you're shopping for produce, if you'll notice on the produce, there's all these, on the labels, there's going to be numbers on it, okay? So if it starts with a 3 or a 4 and is 4 digits, it's conventionally grown. This is actually going to be on the cheat sheet that I'm going to give you, the shopping center or grocery shopping cheat sheet. Okay. I'm going to give that to you so you have it. That's going to be conventionally grown produce. So whether if it's a clean 15, meaning it's produce that has a thick skin or that is not raised with tons of chemicals, then you can buy it conventionally. If it's a dirty dozen, if it's on the dirty dozen, that's like apples and grapes and strawberries and lettuces. Those have very thin skins and are grown with a lot of pesticides, herbicides, and fungicides. So you want to make sure you're buying those organic. That's going to also be on there for you. If the code starts with a 9 and has 5 digits, it's organically grown. Now, if it starts with an 8 and has 5 digits, it's genetically modified. Just stay away from those, okay? We are avoiding GMOs all day long. Now, okay, I don't have much more time, so I am going to do my next, we're going to do part 3 of food, and we're going to talk about deciphering ingredient lists. I think that'll be super fun, and I'm just going to talk to you about the loopholes. So check that the next podcast out if you want to learn more about that, and I'll kind of go more into GMOs a little bit, and if you want, I'll even share how to purge your pantry, kind of the steps you would take to start cleaning up your pantry. And this, again, my friends, these are baby steps. If you're already overwhelmed, just stick with a few things. Find a few things that are going to work and then just keep moving forward, okay? We don't want to get overwhelmed or analysis by paralysis, right? Awesome. Thanks for letting me share my heart with you. I love talking about food. Now, if you love this information, I do have my ebook. It's a Hippie Mom's Secrets to Clean Eating, and it is on my website, www.thehippiemom.com. And if you just scroll down there, you'll see a link to my ebook. I'll actually put that on the resources page or the show notes. Because it has all this stuff and it has the list and it has resources. And my husband and I were talking about this the other day. I don't know. Do you actually read ebooks? Like every ebook that I've ever downloaded, I really don't read. So I understand if that doesn't work for you, I'm going to be putting this into a course. So I can just start teaching people the basics on it. But if you want this information and you want to be able to go through it, download my ebook. It's super simple. It has all the information, all the resources, and everything that you need that we had just discussed and more. Awesome. Thank you for joining me today. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for geeking out with me about food. Please share and subscribe to this podcast. I really appreciate it. I have yet to launch it at this point when I'm recording. So I just appreciate all the love and support that you all give me. And we are on this mission together. So let's rock it. All right, guys. See you later.